How can a tiny group of people, and I mean tiny, spark a movement that literally changes the world? It sounds completely impossible, right? Well, today we're going to pull apart the blueprint for that exact kind of explosive compounding growth. Our source material calls it the exponential church.
You know, every massive movement has a starting point, and for this one, it all begins with a mission that honestly sounds just insane. The source paints this really vivid picture of a single moment that, against all odds, lit the fuse for a global revolution.
To just picture this scene for a second. This isn't a room full of generals or philosophers. We're talking about fishermen, a few tax collectors, regular people. And they're not even confident. They're hesitant. They're probably scared, wondering if they can really pull this off. The gap between who they were and what they were just asked to do, it is just massive.
And here it is. This is the command that gets the whole thing started, what's often called the Great Commission. Now listen to the language here. This is not a gentle suggestion. It's a clear directive with a global scope. And this is so important. It's not just about getting people to agree with an idea. It's about teaching them a whole new way of life that they can then turn around and teach to someone else.
So that really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How did this group, from this tiny, fragile starting point, kick off something that would just keep multiplying for thousands of years? Well, the answer, as we're about to see, is all about a totally different way of thinking about growth.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this incredible growth story, we have to understand one core concept: the huge difference between simple addition and the explosive power of multiplication. Think about it like this. Addition is linear. You know, one person gets one other person to join. It's steady, it's predictable, but man, is it slow. A lot of modern strategies are basically addition. But multiplication, whoa, that is a total game changer. It's all about compounding. See, each person doesn't just add another person, they train that person to also multiply. And that's what creates this unstoppable chain reaction. And get this wasn't just some theory on a whiteboard. The source points right to the book of Acts, where you see this principle just explode into reality almost overnight. First, 3,000 people join the movement, and then, a short time later, bam, 5,000 more. This is not slow and steady addition. This is the very start of a classic exponential curve. So if multiplication is the goal, how do you actually do it? Is there a process? Well, the source argues that the Great Commission isn't just a command. It's a very specific, replicable formula for exactly this kind of exponential growth.
The formula really has three key parts. First, go and make disciples. It's active, it's intentional. Second, baptize, which is about bringing people into a real community, not just adding a name to a list. And third, teach to obey. Now this last step, this is the secret sauce. This is what makes the whole thing compound. It ensures the cycle doesn't just repeat, but it actually picks up speed.
Wow. I mean, this verse is such a perfect picture of the whole strategy in action. You can literally see 4 generations of this model right here. 1 from Paul, to 2, Timothy, who then finds 3 reliable people who are then equipped to teach 4 others. It's a multi-generational growth plan, all packed into a single sense. That is intentional design.
Okay, so we've got the formula. But a formula is just an idea, right? It's useless without an engine to actually drive it. So, what powers this multiplication? The source material points to 3 key things that act as the power source for this whole movement.
These 3 things are totally interconnected. You've got revival, which is like the fuel creating all the energy. Then you have prayer, which is the spark that ignites it. And finally, there's faith, the deep conviction that keeps that engine running even when the road gets tough. So let's break that down. What are we really talking about with revival? The source describes it as a kind of spiritual awakening that just supercharges a whole community of people. All of a sudden, sharing their message isn't a duty or a chore. It becomes this natural, contagious overflow of genuine excitement. And prayer is the spark that lights the fuel. The source makes this fascinating point. Pretty much every single major breakthrough in this movement happened right after periods of intense, focused prayer. It's presented as the thing that connects human effort to divine power. They even talk about a prayer meeting that lasted for 100 years. 100 years. And it helped launch a massive global missions movement. Just incredible. This quote from the missionary William Carey just nails it. Expect great things from God, attempt great things for God. This perfectly captures what faith means in this context. It's not passive. It's this active conviction, this belief that gives people the guts to try enormous things, trusting that the results are going to follow. It's the confidence that keeps that engine humming. All right, so we've talked about the big picture, right? The formula, the engine. But what about the individual? Where does one person fit into this huge model of multiplication?
So, what does it really mean to be an exceptional follower? You might think it means being a famous leader or a charismatic speaker, but the definition the source gives us is actually something totally different.
Being exceptional here has absolutely nothing to do with your public profile. It's all about your internal character. It means being all in, being faithful in the small, unseen things, and most importantly, living your life with the specific goal of multiplication in mind. We're talking about ordinary people with an extraordinary sense of purpose. And here's the crucial part. This is an active role. The goal isn't just to believe something for yourself. The goal is to pour into other people so that they can then turn around and pour into the next person. It's about becoming a critical link in that compounding chain of growth.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. Let's circle all the way back to that hillside in Galilee and connect these pieces to right now.
The source material wraps up by saying that this isn't just some ancient history lesson. The argument is that the mission that started with that small, uncertain group is still going, and the responsibility for carrying it forward, that baton, has been passed down through all the generations, right into our hands today.
And that leaves us with one last thing to chew on. If you strip this all down to its basic principles, a clear, replicable process, a powerful source of motivation, and individuals who are deeply committed to multiplication, what can we learn? What are the essential ingredients for any kind of exponential movement, whether it's spiritual, social, or even in business? That's definitely something to think about.